sit it up here on top of this thing. Oops, nope, I don't think so. Let me see if I can stick this in the middle. Let's see here. Oops. Yeah. Put it on top of that sometime. Yeah. Alright. Maybe I can I want to start talking about stuff a little bit deeper. These are some books, man. That was on my other computer. This is actually on my laptop. These are books that I actually read years ago, but I had a reading problem. But I had to get my family members to read it out to me. I feel like I haven't been in my Bible in a while. I don't like that. But I do talk about black history. Not black history, but our history as far as so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American people who was brought over here on slave ships. One of the main things about me is that I was brought up and told that my father was Creole. Then I started asking further questions. They said that his father is from Spain, but his granddad is of Costa Rica. But what I've been learning as I've been looking at the information, as I dived off into information, when you look at these places like countries, like land masses and stuff, the name of a land mass doesn't dictate that's a genealogy, a DNA. DNA makes you. Your DNA is determined by your father, not a land mass. Just because you say your daddy was there's a difference in between being from somewhere versus being born in an area versus your genetic makeup, your DNA. Those are three different things. Just because you have to understand, bro. Let's look at it from here. Let's get it out the Bible and you'll see what I'm talking about. Look like it's gonna rain. Let's get it out of Psalms 49 and 11. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Maybe I can break it down a little bit better in that form. A lot of people don't take time to actually do the research because they don't feel like taking the time. They don't want to take out the time and do it. It's no different from a person who don't want to take out the time to clean up their house. They lazy. It's the same thing. Like your parents may say, wash the dishes. You see what I'm saying? But you may be like, oh, I don't feel like doing that shit. And they be like, you better do what your parents say to you. Oh, I know it's right, but I don't want to do it. That's what it feels like when it comes to reading. And I know it's a lot of people. They sit up and they do a whole lot of running their mouth. But they ain't gonna do nothing, they ain't gonna look up nothing. They just gonna sit right there and just stubborn as hell. You can't tell them nothing. Now, do you call that a Christian? Do you call that a Christian? Fuck no. You ain't no goddamn Christian. No. Anytime you reject knowledge, you don't love God. Simple as that. You don't. I can prove that. Let's look at this, bro. Psalm 49 and 11. Their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generation. They call their lands after their own names. That's talking about every landmass, everywhere that the so-called white man went and laid his seed, meaning he raped, he robbed, and he murdered each country and stole everybody's identity. Do y'all know that British and Scotland was a black country? Black people ruled. That's right. Let's get off into that. Let's look at it. The original people that ruled Scottish and English.
According to Wikipedia, historically, they emerged from an amalgamation of two Celtic-speaking peoples, the Picts and Gaels, who founded the Kingdom of Scotland in the 9th century.
Okay, let's look at Wikipedia. The Scottish people, Scottish to the south, they also emerged from the Angles, who subdued the neighboring Celtic-speaking the Cranberries into the Anglo-Saxons kingdom and settled what would become the southeast of Scotland later. The English kingdom of North Dom was divided with its northern lands, and the Germanic-speaking peoples became a part of medieval Scotland in the 12th century. In the northern conquest, conquest of England brought immigrants with the Anglo-Norman rules class further populated Scotland, and particular the lowlands with Normans, French, Anglo-Saxon during the dividing revolution. Okay, let's look at yeah, English and Scottish were all. Who were the original Britain people?
According to Wikipedia, the first people to be called English were the Anglo-Saxons, a group of closely related Germanic tribes that began migrating to eastern and southern Great Britain, from southern Denmark and northern Germany, in the 5th century AD, after the Romans had withdrawn from Britain.
The Romans, this is talking about they came, and only the first people to be called English were the Anglo-Saxon, a group of closely related Germanic tribes that began immigrating to eastern and southern Great Britain from southern Denmark and northern Germany in the 5th century AD, after the Romans had withdrew from British. This is talking about after they went and laid a seed in other countries. The first inhabitation were the Britons, who came from Armenian and first people Britain, Southwood. Armenian is possibly a mistake transcription. These transcripts of Aramaic or Aramaic in an area in the southeastern Gael, including modern I don't know what that is, but Britain, People Britannica. This is talking about Britain, one of a peoples habitating Britain before the Anglo-Saxons invasion began in the 5th century AD, although it was once thought that the Britons descended from descended from the Celts or the Celtics, it is now believed that they were the indigenous population, and they remain in contact with the European neighbors and through trading and other social exchanges. It was all about trading and exchanging the slaves, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So, it says Psalms 49:11. Their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. They rename these countries after they conquered them. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to show you a couple of more, maybe one more. Let's look at I probably won't be able to find it too easy. Let me look up the scripture before let me try. Give me time to find the scripture. Let's read the scripture here in Joel chapter 3 and verse 3. They have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. In other words, they would take the boys, and they would take the somehow they would take the mixed breed slaves and said, like, they would use them as slaves, the mixed breeds, like the mixed people today. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? That's why they consider you black today. Now let's look at this down here. It says, Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre, O Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedy, I will return your recompense upon your own head, because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried unto your temples, and my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from your